Good morning. It's Friday, December 8th. My internet is back working. Hopefully, you guys were on the show yesterday morning, but I think I gave the top four anyway in the chat room because we were four for four. Amazing, crazy picks. We gave you Lilum at 120 yesterday morning with a target of 138 minimum, and it hit like a low 140s or so. And then we gave you Rivian, which did end up having an open green candle. I happened to get in at a nice price, but even if you got it at the open, you closed nicely. But then we also gave you Google and AMD, and they were crazy, and AMD hit the target we gave you. Let me just start with there, and then we'll get into the macro. There was some news this morning that's impacting the markets, but AMD went above, I think the level we probably gave you was the top of this candle here, 125.73. All right. And when that broke, I gave you a higher swing target of 132.83. And I think I'm sticking with that, 132.83. So congrats if you played this. I said I'm not able to day trade right now, but I did pick up some from my long-term account. In fact, I actually rotated some NVIDIA into AMD yesterday in my long-term account. So AMD was a huge winner of yesterday, but also Google, nice big open green candle. And these big caps are good to play with options. So four for four in our picks yesterday. Let's see if we can repeat that today. But first, look at the macro. You can see TLT crashing 1.2%. Bouncing right off that 200 DMA. Is this today's candle? Let me see. December. That's not. Yeah, 2 days in a row got resisted. Man, do you remember we gave you this target? I don't follow TLT that closely, like in terms of trading it, but I'm like, man, this has room to the 200 DMA, and it got. This is all you need, man. Forget about fancy technicals. Forget about drawing your own lines. Why would you waste your time with that? 200 DMA right there. This happens so often at the major moving averages. So anyway, what happened this morning is that employment data came in hot. Let me see if I have it here. Yeah. Okay. The two numbers I was looking at, unemployment rate came in at 3.7 versus 3.9%. So 0.2% lower than expected. And there was another number of employment figures like 200. Yeah, here it is. 199 versus 180. Okay. Those are the two big numbers I heard this morning coming through. And those are pretty big numbers, in terms of coming in hot. So what happened is TLT immediately dropped on that. And also, I don't have direct access to this, but I was listening to Bloomberg Radio on the ride over, and they were saying the rate expectations have come down. Rate cuts, right? There's an expectation for the first rate cut in, I forgot what month it is, sometime in the spring. And those expectations already down from 55% to 47%. So not a big crash, but did drop 8%. So look, this whole run in risk assets has been because TLT has been soaring and rate expectations have been coming down. Are we at the top now? Right? I mean, there's a strong argument for that right now. I'm looking at this. I'm like, one, yeah, you ran because TLT went up, and now you have fundamental data coming in that might point towards rates going up again with bonds coming down, and you got resisted right at the 200 DMA 2 days in a row. To me, this is a little bit concerning, and I'm not sure that I buy this pre-market price action of really this pre-market is not really showing that much concern yet. Well, you can see the initial reaction, RK was down, but it's kind of stabilized, and IWM is actually up somehow. Hold on. Thought it was. No, that's not the right. Give me my chart. There it is. How is IWM up? I don't know what this is like, diverging from everything else, actually. So really odd price behavior from IWM and QQQ and SPY. They are also down, but like moderated, not so bad. I don't know, man. I tend to. I'm gonna go out there and say it. I think it might be time to reduce. It might be time to raise cash. Okay, it might be time to raise cash. I don't know about shorting. If you're into that, if you're good at it, maybe it's time to short or have some hedges. But to me, I think the kind of stars are aligned for at least a near term top. Okay, I think CPI is coming out next week, if I'm not mistaken. Right, so then market can explode again next week after if we get light CPI. But for now, for at least a few days, I'm thinking we're in for a near-term top. All right. So it's Friday, which means there's not a lot of catalysts on Friday mornings. All right. So we have a short list of things to talk about. And we might end a little bit early, which might be good because I think at 9:30 I want to go and raise some cash based on these employment numbers that came out. But in any case, what are we looking at? I have Bitcoin up here, Tesla up here, USO. Where do I want to start? I did have a bunch of potential long ideas with Enphase and Blue and Joby, and we'll go over those catalysts. But I don't think those catalysts are strong enough to overcome a potential near-term top in the market. Um, let's start with Tesla. So Tesla, Bernstein comes out and says their top pick of the year is to short Tesla with a $150 price target. All right. Now, if this was like JP Morgan or Goldman Sachs or something, I think I might like buy puts at the open, but it's Bernstein. I think the bigger reason to potentially, if you wanted to short this, is because of the rates and interest rates and everything. So, in any case, this is a potential short for the day. I don't have high conviction on it because it's Bernstein, but I just wanted to let you know because that's a bold call. You don't see that often, right? Top pick of the year, short Tesla. Okay, so gonna have that at the top of my watch list. Maybe it's a potential jump in and short it. USO. Look, I don't play oil at all. I don't know much about it in terms of what it trades on and everything. I mean, I do, but I don't trade oil. Okay, it's too choppy for me. Okay, and a little bit unpredictable. But look at this. We had this big gap here, and I stepped in with a little bit the last few days because it's just been absolutely clobbered. The reason I stepped in really was because the ceasefire had ended last Friday in Israel. And I'm like, okay, maybe there's going to be some, geopolitical concerns or whatnot. And with oil really down, I thought it was a very cheap kind of hedge. All right, so I got in a little bit, but now look at this. Look at this gap opportunity here. It was 2 days ago. The high was 66.35. We're at 66.12 in pre-market. We were kind of above that. Now with rate expectations going up, I think it puts a little bit of a damper on it. Uh, but it's not like oil went down. It's not like oil went up when rate expectations were lower, right? So I don't even know what caused this big drop in oil. I heard, there are some things going on with, I don't know. I heard someone attribute it to this EV goal that the Biden administration has for like 75% of cars to be new cars to be electric or something by 2032. But then I heard yesterday Republicans are blocking that. So I don't know, but something to keep an eye on in terms of filling this gap. If you go over 66.35, then the target is going to be 67.47. And that's significant if you're doing this with options. So 66.35 and then 67.47. So that's something to watch today. So potential short Tesla, potential of long oil over here. Bitcoin looks strong, by the way. I had this up here, really holding its gains very nicely. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to make it a top pick, but man, Iron has just been on fire. If this is the best way to play the miners. All right, so where am I? Not much, not anywhere yet. I don't really have strong picks for you yet. Let's keep going down the list, okay? It's like maybe short oil if we break a level, maybe short Tesla, but that's always scary. All right, Bitcoin, it's holding its gains, but I don't know that I have a catalyst for it to explode today. So we're really kind of nowhere so far. Let's keep going. All right, First Solar. First Solar got an upgrade from Morgan Stanley. Increased the price target from 214 to 237. So that made me think of Enphase because Enphase has broken 50-day moving average. It's had big insider buys recently. The sentiment in the space has been good recently. What's this gap that we're in? Are we above that gap? Yes, we're above that gap, 103.98. Yeah, I've been talking about this for a while. 115. I was thinking so, but now with this rate, like I was going to have this as a top 5 pick, but I'm not so sure anymore with the jobs data. Okay, and in any case, Enphase came in with hold on, was it the same analyst? Morgan Stanley maintains equal weight. Wait, who was it at First Solar? Was it Morgan Stanley? It was Morgan Stanley. So Morgan Stanley is upgrading First Solar, but only equal weight on Enphase. So I don't know. I got to throw that idea away too. Okay, I thought it was a decent idea, but now looking at Morgan Stanley as the same analyst that upgraded for Solar, they're just neutral on Enphase. Plus, The jobs data coming in hot. I don't know that that's a top 5 pick. Let's keep going. Let's see if we can find something. All right. We got CRISPR. This is what I'm hoping for on CRISPR. Man, CRISPR, I sold like over half of my remaining position. I'm now at a 25% position of peak. FDA decision is today. I sold it near the end of the day at like 70 something, a little above 70. And then look what happened this morning. Oh, man. Who knows? All right. I didn't know that was going to happen. I didn't know how early the FDA decision would come in. I didn't want to be holding excess shares after 4 p.m. last night. But spiked to $73 this morning. Big move. In any case, this is what I'm hoping for. Anything can happen, right? FDA can say it's rejected. FDA can say it's approved. FDA can say they need more data. And then as far as price action, anything can happen, right? First of all, it's rejected, you're going down hard, okay? But if it's approved, you might also get a sell the news because it's widely expected to be approved. I'm hoping this is the scenario I'm hoping for, and if it happens, I'll jump on it. Number one, we get an approval. Number two, it goes down on sell the news, and that's my entry. Okay, that's my entry. There's going to be a lot of news over the weekend, all over the place about the first FDA approval in history on this gene editing technology, and then I'd be looking for a rebound, a nice big move on Monday. So that's there to watch and hope that scenario plays out. Number one, get approved. Number two, go down. Number three, I get in. All right. So CRISPR is going to be on a high watch for us. Blue is a competitor of CRISPR in this space, gene editing technologies here. Market cap's tiny, $500 million. Morgan Stanley came in. Was it Morgan Stanley? Yep. Upgraded to equal weight with a price target of 7. All right. So this one we gave to you when the stock was about 5. It's 5. Well, it's around. So it didn't move much depending on when you got in. It did spike earlier this morning if you got in on the alert quickly, but that would have been tough to do. So in any case, thing with Blue though is it's just gone up a lot from on this rally from $2.50 to $5. It's already up 100%. So I'm hard pressed to act on this analyst upgrade. Now, this might get some tailwinds and some excitement. If we do get the FDA approval today for CRISPR, you might see a sentiment move in Blue, especially since you have the stack catalyst of the analyst upgrade. So Blue is something I'm going to keep on the radar in terms of maybe buying dips if I get it. I don't know that I want to chase it here again, up 100%. But Blue definitely going to be up there. CRISPR and Blue will be watching closely. All right, let's keep going down. Joby with some news, a partnership. Remember, Lilium exploded on a partnership in terms of, I think it was Europe. I don't know I forgot who the partner was, but in terms of eVTOL expansion in Europe. And now we have Joby in Japan. All right, they with 2 partners in terms of exploring infrastructure and commercialization across Japan. But the difference is Joby is a $4.4 billion company. I will put this in the top 5, but I'm not expecting like a gigantic move like we had in Lilium, just because the impact of this news should be less relative to its market cap. Okay. So Joby going to be in the top there. So CRISPR, Blue, Joby, we're going to be watching this closely. Okay. SWBI, I did not hear what I wanted to hear. The earnings came out. It was the top line beat a little bit. The bottom line missed on some margin issues, which are saying is going to be resolved going forward. Their guidance looks kind of in line. The commentary, someone did ask about the war in Israel and if you're seeing any increase in demand. And they said, yeah, we are seeing increase in demand in October, but it's seasonal. We usually see an increase in demand in October. And from our view, it's not anything extraordinary. It's basically seasonal. So, for me, that kills the thesis on these gun stocks. All right. So SWBI not going to be in the top 5, and I'll be reducing some in my gun stocks. I still think it's going to come through. It's, they're a manufacturer. By the way, I think they might be lowballing stuff, sandbagging. They might be sandbagging here. They do have an active buyback program going. They did say the bump they saw in October is sustained until now. All right. I don't know if that was a hint towards, maybe it's beyond seasonal, right? Because they said something that's like, yeah, October we see a bump, that's seasonal, and they didn't say but, and it's being sustained. through now. All right. So is that a hint? Are they trying to sandbag because they want to take this opportunity to do more share buybacks? I'm not sure. I still believe in the gun plays and the gun stock plays, but it may not come through until next quarter. Especially these manufacturers, they don't see it right away. They only have a few weeks of data. Really, it's the retailers and the distributors are the ones who they have to go through their inventory before it really gets to the manufacturers. So I still think I'm going to keep some position in gun stocks, POWW, RGR, and maybe a little SWBI, but I'm definitely going to reduce on this data that came out. All right, AMD, I told you about that. I gave you the target on that, swing target of 132.83. And let's see if we can find some support levels here. Well, this one, if it pulls back to the high, 125.73, 125.73. 125.73, then that is going to be your support level there. All right. Rivian was a top pick for us yesterday. If we can break 1942, this thing can run much higher. And I'm going to leave it at that. It's 9:21. Don't have a lot of positive catalysts today. Don't have many catalysts on a Friday anyway. But I think I'm going to need some time for myself here at 9:30. I think I do want to raise some cash, maybe sell some gun stocks, and see how the market reacts to this hot jobs data coming in. As far as like the top five, okay, do we really have a top five today? Let's see. Well, we're going to be watching CRISPR closely for that scenario we're talking about. Blue on a pullback, I might want to get into. Joby's definitely going to be there in the top five, but not necessarily for a huge move. And then short Tesla, I think that's an idea that has some validity here for the top five. And we're going to put Enphase in there or oil. Let's see. Now, let's see what it looks like now. I think we can put 6 in there because CRISPR's not really all right. So, like Joby, I think could have an open green candle today. I think there's a decent chance of that being working out today. And Tesla short, I think that has a decent chance of working out today if you short it, like an open, a closed red candle on Tesla. So yeah, let's leave it at like 6. So we're looking for that breakout of USO above that level. Okay, 66.35 on USO. We're looking for the scenario we talked about on CRISPR. We're talking about maybe a small gain on Joby today. Blue, maybe good, very volatile, maybe good to play buy the dips and sell the rips on something like Blue, micro cap, highly volatile stock. And that's about it. All right. I don't have too many high conviction things here. My main thing is going to be raising some cash, selling some gun stocks, and looking for an approval on CRISPR and then a drop and then jump in on the drop. That's my major game plan today. But some of these other short Tesla, who knows, that could pay off big if you're in that with options. So something to consider. All right, guys. I wish I had better positive catalyst ideas for you and strong conviction that we're going to be exploding today, but I just don't have it today. It's not going to happen every day. Thanks, everyone. We're going to end it here. All right. And we'll continue chatting in the chat room and we'll see you live Monday morning. Take care.